yourselves for hungry zombies, killer clowns, masked psychopaths, and chainsaw-wielding fiends. Spooky season is upon us, and we'll be your guide through some of Southern California's finest scare attractions. From nightmarish mazes to terrifying jump scares, we'll be reviewing every creature, ghostly whisper, and scream as we give you an inside look into the heart-pounding, bone-chilling world of haunted houses and immersive events. Turn off the lights, lock the doors, and join us for this spine-tingling special edition of Scripts and Screams.
Now your hosts with the ghosts, Jessica Morgan and Chris Carter.
Hey! Everybody listen, we've got a big announcement.
Huge.
We don't, but
Wait.
yeah, I know. It's just really get people's butts in the seats. Everybody,
Is that what we're
everybody
doing?
get to your seats.
You guys, are your butts in the seats?
Get your popcorn.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what we're doing here.
No, we can't tell them yet.
Well, I was leading to trust. Trust. Oh my gosh. Okay, y'all.
Sorry for not taking you seriously, my darling.
Yeah, thank you. I accept your apology. This one's kind of fun. I'm actually really excited to talk about this because this was not an event that we had on our list. It was not an event that we talked about ahead of time.
Gotta credit your sister. Your sister really found this. We had seen it.
We had seen it. We had talked about it even like previous years, and then even this year it came up for me a little bit earlier, and I was like, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And then when Lizzie brought it up, that's when we were like, all right, let's dig into this and see.
Yeah.
And yeah, so worth it. It is touted as the most intense horror survival game. So again, a little different. We're not talking about some big haunts that we're going to or anything.
I know.
We're a little bit more on the, you know what I mean?
We are in the immersive space, and just like Mr. Announcer said, thank you, Mr. Announcer. We do immersive events, haunts, all those things, and this is definitely in the immersive side of things. And I will say that how you described it is very true.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, for my birthday, you guys took me to the Escapade games, and we did Revenge of Zoe or Zoe Reborn. One of the two, I forget.
Yeah, that one.
See the video on YouTube. It's got like almost 1,500 views. Which
just because it's hilarious.
Yeah, it is hilarious.
And terrible. It's traumatizing, y'all.
That was like the most like high contact immersive thing I had done until this one. And we should say, full disclaimer, we knew somebody in the cast. He is one of the actors in Night of the Harvest, which if you haven't heard of it, it's our movie we put out. It's a Halloween movie. Go see it. It's being talked about in a whole bunch of different places.
Yeah, we really hope you support and check it out. But yeah, one of the actors that is in there also works here, and so we were excited as well to go and see that. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about this.
I think we just say it.
Other than to just say what it is. If you haven't guessed, we are talking about Hollywood's Escape Hotel. They do a Halloween event called Hide and Seek.
Yeah.
And this year they called it Hide and Seek, a Silent Death.
I didn't know there was a sub name for it.
Yeah. This year they we hadn't done it previous years, but there was an element of silence and such in this game.
That's good to know.
Yes, it was good to know. And it was it was an important little rule in there. But basically when they talk about this event, they say the entire hotel, because it's an escape room place is really what it is.
It's important to make that distinction. The venue is very cool. Like when you go to the website,
sick.
They actually do like Gatsby-esque dinner parties. It's an actual functioning restaurant. It's a jazz band. Like
but normally it touts itself as escape rooms, like a hotel with escape rooms. And you come in, I've gone to one of their escape rooms, and because if y'all don't know, I'm an escape room like lover. And so I've gone to one of their escape rooms, and they literally as soon as you walk in, they're just like in character. Like it's a theme, it's creepy. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's cool.
And I've never experienced that at other escape rooms. Like you go in and they're still like, hey, welcome to this, what's your game?
So your theming happens as soon as you walk in.
As soon as you walk in. Apparently we like that.
We do like that.
It.
It's a big deal, right? We like the immersion of it.
Yes,
right?
we do.
We talk about a creep. is great about as soon as you walk through their doors, you're in their world, right?
And that
so,
was this one too. Yeah. You walk in and it's definitely not the vibes that you just put out there, but it is more subdued and creepy because it's a creepy hotel room where, you know, the people who are taking care of us are the ghosts that are stuck there, basically.
Like the bellhops and everybody, right? Like, is that how it was when you went? Or were they just...
Yes. There was like 2 people there to check us in. You have to go up and get checked in. And they take your picture and you get a passport. There's like a whole thing. So then you can come back to the different ones. It's really cool. And then there's tons of jokes along the way about like, well, if you don't get out, I guess you'll just join us. We'll see you here again. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
They don't really break character, right?
No, it's great. They're like, they're awesome. So it was such a fun thing to go to as an escape room. And then we went and decided to do this event. So they open up the entire place and they say that it's like the entire hotel becomes your playground, basically.
Like 12,000 square feet, I think I read somewhere.
It's
right?
huge. Something like that. I don't know. I guess
two stories.
We'll fact check this, but
like 2
it's
stories.
Like 3 stories.
3 stories.
There's basement, remember?
Oh, the basement. Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess 2 main stories and then like there's a basement you go into as well. But really cool stuff. So their escape rooms are mostly open to just be in, you know what I mean?
Which is crazy. It's such a crazy concept, guys. Like generally an escape room, it's one room, you have access to it, but here every single room is open and all the rooms to the escape room are open.
Yes.
Like you don't have to unlock something. It's so it feels huge. It feels huge, right?
Yes. And then they talk about it's an intense survival game.
And we didn't know that. We knew
here's what we knew. They say it's full contact.
Yes.
So full contact means that these characters are going to be able to touch you.
Which we were fine with.
We've gone to full contact events.
We're not bitches.
And there are different levels of full contact. Like there's full contact and when we will just gently lead you places. And then there's like, we're going to manhandle you a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was the other one, Escapades game that you spoke about. They definitely were like manhandling. No, what? How is that a wall?
Sorry, no, that's...
Oh, okay, that one. Okay, I'm gonna have to get on this board again, guys. I was gonna say it was pretty exciting, but one thing we didn't know until we showed up was that full contact was definitely full contact, and they will capture you and do things like that. We got that, but they also have something else.
Yeah.
What else do they have, Christopher?
Well, I don't actually have a sound effect for this, but it could be called a taser. They actually have tasers.
They have little stun wands.
Well, yeah, and people have seen the pens. If you've been to 17th Door, you've seen them. Escapade Games uses them. These are the actual like old school ones with the prongs, where like it's like a 2-prong
They're like holding
thing.
it,
Yeah, it's like
hands.
a handheld taser, like a self-defense taser, like a woman would have in her purse or something.
I do want to say it's still not crazy terrible, right? Like it's still not
in terms of size, or what do you mean? Because I never got tased.
Oh
we'll get
my
to that.
God, he never got tased. Chris was wearing shorts, which I actually would have thought was a mistake going into this thing.
Me too.
But because they were loose, I think he didn't get tased. I think his shorts probably got caught a few times.
So
in the end, it ended up being a win for him.
It was brilliant.
Was it?
Fortune and glory, kid.
Fortune
and glory.
But we'll focus on the glory because it was glorious. I don't want to get too far into that. I want to talk about like just as an event, right? Like we get lined up, there's a shit ton of people.
They make you wait outside.
Yeah, and so we find out about this taser thing. Was it when we were reading the releases?
we're one of those few people who actually like read releases when you actually have to sign them, because I think a lot of people don't. But we read the releases because you have to sign release forms, and one of them said that you were giving permission to be stunned, to use these stun guns,
which is the first time we had heard about it, right?
Yeah.
It never mentioned that fucking at all anywhere.
No, not online, nowhere like that. So it was definitely surprising to us. And then eventually when you get inside and they start going over all the rules, they do make that extremely clear.
Yeah.
Like they say it probably 5 different times.
You're going to get fucking tased.
You're going to get fucking tased.
Yeah.
I mean, without that F word,
they even brought an like
hit the bleeper. No,
oh yeah, sorry. Sorry, I
you're gonna
censoring myself. But I think what you might be happening is you're going to get and then you're going to get really and then you're going to take in the so it's,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Copy.
but they actually brought somebody up out of the crowd to like make an example of like
they said, does anyone want to
who have volunteer
demonstrate the tasing?
Right? And so this guy he went up there and when he got tased, like his response to it told me he did not expect it to hurt that much. Like,
Right.
it was not that was hard, but I'm still a badass because,
Yeah, I kind of was expecting that because we have been, even to the escapades game, we decided you can do an extreme mode and get tased. We decided to opt out of that. But then at the end, our friend Dustin was like, well, let me at least like see how hard the tase is because he was curious about it. And he said it really wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? Like it's shocking and it like jars you. But
Sure.
so I had that thought where I was like, maybe this person's going to go up and then it's going to just kind of like,
yeah, it wasn't that bad, right?
yeah. And it wasn't. This dude reacted.
yeah.
Like I was like, oh. And basically they were like, look, you can decide to do baby mode is what they call it.
Yeah.
Which means that they'll give you a different colored glow necklace.
Yeah,
You have a glow necklace you
Gather
wear.
this all up inside. They're introducing the game to us, and then they talk about baby mode.
You're
Was it
gonna
what they
be-
call baby mode?
Yeah, they were making fun of everybody. If you want to be a baby, you can play the baby mode. And you wear a different color necklace. And then they will try to not tase you as much, kind of a thing. But then there's this whole other thing we'll get into where they kind of were like, but you could possibly get tased. They basically were telling everyone you're going to get tased.
I missed that.
I'm happy that they said that because they weren't lying.
No, the amount of people like
I thought there was still me holding out hope being like, I'm not gonna get tased. I follow the rules. I'm great.
Yeah.
I'm good at dodging. I can do all the I'm not gonna get tased.
well, because there's something you haven't mentioned yet. Is like the people that tase you are in the theme of the game are like blinded creatures.
Yes,
so if you make
that's
a
what
noise,
I'm getting to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, it's cool. Let's get into it.
Okay.
The reason it's called a silent death, like the theme this year, one of the things they've decided to add on is that there are these creatures. They call them.
Yeah.
Yes. And they are, and they come out and they're blindfolded and they kind of have blood spots in their like a gauze that's around their eyes. So
Yeah.
it's like their eyes been
Like
gouged
people
out.
have been, their eyes have been ripped out.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they're blind.
And they're topless.
Well, one of them is.
Oh, I thought they both were.
Maybe a couple? There was definitely
there
one.
were a few of them for sure.
There was a few of creatures, but they weren't all topless.
I'll take that as a yes.
But they're holding the taser and stuff, and so they say they can't see clearly, but they can hear. So if you make any noise, then they're gonna go at you with the taser.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the thing with even baby mode. They're blind. They can't see what color necklace you have on.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah. So they were like, so if you make any noise, it's going to be a thing. And I thought this was such a great aspect. I don't think they did that in previous years from what I understood. And it was fantastic.
What, baby mode you mean?
No, the blind people.
Oh, I see.
Why
like
this
the
is called a
creatures.
silent death.
Oh.
Yeah, the creatures.
Interesting. Going into the theme.
Yeah, so good. It was so terrifying and so fun to just have a moment where you're trying to rush around and then you go down a hall and you're like just turning a corner or you're coming out of a room or something and you turn a corner and it's just like there's one there.
So so we're getting into the game. I want to talk about, so now that we've been introduced to baby mode, you've got our example. We're sitting here with there's this guy who's telling us, hey, these are the rules, follow the rules.
Here's your passport.
Okay, also, I should say that too. During this process, there is a like a goal line for this, right? We get a passport. This is explained in the rules on when you actually
Because it's a game.
Because it is a game. And I believe there are 16 different missions. And with those,
I think it's 15.
I think it's 16. There's 16 different missions that correspond.
16, you were right.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, hold on.
Yes!
And during that process, you get a passport, and if you complete a mission, you get a stamp, and that's how you can kind of track your progress. And so there is like a goal, not just sadistic tasing. But so you get your passport, you have your and they identify you through the glow necklaces, whether you're blue or red. And at the point where all this has been explained to us, we have all of the information we need, and then the countdown starts. This for me is when I got nervous, like really nervous. So
this was wild.
And so in every immersive event that we've done, and we've done quite a few of them, one especially back, I think it was in 2018 or something like that. It took place in a giant field, and you can't run, you basically try out, you don't want to hurt yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to run, you don't want to trip over yourself, other people.
Right.
This, in my opinion, when this was not like that. Like that waiver you signed must have been ironclad, because once the countdown started, so the lights go out and they say, everybody
run and hide.
Okay, that's what they said?
They did.
Okay, so run and hide, and then it was a 10-second countdown? Or was it 20 seconds? It might have been.
I think it was 30.
Okay,
Because 30 seconds feels like a long time.
But when you're panicked, you have to crawl over people. It's really not.
And like run and hide, I heard, but every game we've ever played, it's like you're not supposed to really run.
Yeah.
You're not really supposed to run.
Yeah.
They meant run.
They absolutely meant run. And if we found out very quickly,
yeah, we didn't find out.
You need to move.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
And here's the thing too, like the space, while we mention it, it's not like it is 12,000 square feet, a shit ton of rooms, but you have, I don't know, maybe like 60, 70 people with you. I don't know the exact number, but it has to be at least 50.
Yeah, I would say
less than 100.
Least.
I don't know. So,
yeah. And by the way, when you're talking about how much space, it's 12,000 square feet.
Did I say 1,200?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I meant 12,000.
Yeah, it's 12,000.
With all the rooms and the hallways and the basement and the stores. But again, it's hallways, so there's like a bottleneck and funnel. But anyway,
yeah, it's like there's stairs to go up like one way, or no matter what, it's like there's a funnel you're going down.
And what's great about this moment, and again, I was scared. Like at this point, I'm like, let's go. You could dip into a couple of these rooms, this giant location that has obviously at least 16 different rooms. You can just go into one and hide and wait.
Yeah.
And then as ready or not, here we come. That moment when like the evil is unleashed.
Oh my God.
I was legitimate. I haven't been that nervous / excited for, I don't think, anything that we've done. Yeah.
It was so cool.
Right?
It was like, that we started going down the hall, like all this giant group of people, right?
Yeah.
And me, like I've been to this place once. Like you guys were fresh new. Like it's Chris and Lizzie and me. And so I start going down the hall just because I'm like, I do know that there's escape rooms down the hall. That is the one place I have been, is like, I know one escape room. I at least know that there's like an area we can go. So that's why for me, I was like, we should go down here. But dude, there happened to be characters already in the hallway when we start going down there, and people were freaking. They were just dead stopping, wouldn't move. And it's like you said, bottlenecking. And like, so yeah, it was bad. Like you could still hear the counting, and then you could hear the timer run out and the chimes happen. And it was just terrifying.
Yeah, it was like you were stuck in this hallway with this person who has a taser. So we talked about the monsters, but there were other people other than the monsters. Characters. Like within the story that could fucking tase you.
Yeah. So it's like they kind of tell you that there's a lot of characters throughout the hotel that are there. Most of them, I mean, some of them can be helpful, they say, but most of them are there to slow you down, to mess you up and things like that, to mess with your game. While they have a few, which is like the butler and the maids and the nurses that are good. Like they're ones that are there to help.
I thought the maids were bad.
No, the maids were good.
Oh, I thought the nurses were bad too.
No, but they all look evil, but they're good. Like the whole thing is that some of these characters will capture you, and they will either detain you in some way or another.
They zip tie you.
They literally will zip tie you, duct tape you, things like that. Lizzie got captured a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple of times? God
damn. A couple of times. And the only way to get...
Sorry for not taking you seriously, my darling.
And the only way to get released is the nurses or the maids. So it's like you have to you have to have somebody else go get one of them to come get you to release you.
Got you.
So, which is kind of cool because they actually build that into the missions. One of the, there's a mission for having a nurse help you out. There's a mission for having a maid help you out. There's even a mission to have the butler help you out. So it's like they actually do build that in. So when people get captured and are stuck, because it would happen, like I'd be running around and then somebody's like, hey, can you guys help me?
It's easy to get separated from the people you can't. Everybody came with somebody.
Everybody came with somebody. But they definitely are like trying to split you up.
Yeah. And if not, they don't, like you do. Like there's a moment, there's a switch that happens. Like it's a self-preservation switch where if two of your friends, in our case, two, like you, the Morgan sisters, one of the creatures got between us. Yeah. And I don't think you're not looking back. I can't stress it enough. You're kind of frantic.
It's self-preservation.
Exactly. So I turned and went the other way. Like I can make it. There's a moment like in the zombie apocalypse, you're like, hey, I got separated from my group. I'm going to be okay. There was that moment. And I was like,
yeah, it's a good analogy because it's like these characters feel like clickers. If you know of like
Very
The
much
Last of
so.
Us,
Yeah.
they feel like clickers. They actually, one of them is making like screeching noises, like that. Kind of noises.
Yeah.
So it's like you have that going on, and they would pop up in between you, in your group, and you're just like, where's my exit? Like, I need to move away from these people.
Yeah.
So it's like you just have to go different ways.
I'm surprised nobody, side note, fell down the stairs, because there are two sets of stairs, there are two staircases.
Yeah.
And the staircases aren't steep, but it is going to second floor, and they don't spiral, but they definitely zag in, or they L shape in, and they're carpeted. But there were times when I was trying to go down the stairs and there was a creature coming up the stairs.
The creatures went up and down the stairs.
There was no escaping these things. Like,
No.
they wanted you. Like,
They were there all the time. There was
Yeah.
like probably 4 or 5 of them that
at
existed.
least. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just the creatures. Never mind the
Not
other
the other
people.
characters. Again, there's these other characters, and that's so hard too. You would see a character down a hall that you have to pass, and you have that moment of like, can I just walk past them? Can I not? Like, you just are trying to play it like nice.
Yeah.
Because I think that's how Lizzie would get caught every once in a while.
shit,
Is
really?
that it's like, yeah, she would be near one, and it's like, and then they would just kind of be like, okay, you're coming with me.
That is a
sort of
really
thing.
great example of a horrible idea.
Or Lizzie.
You got to stay wide. They
Yeah.
Did you get captured?
I didn't.
Me neither.
Well, but I did. There was like a mission that I got detained. Do you remember that one?
Well, yeah, but that was on purpose. Like, you were on a mission that had to be done. You weren't like playing the game and then you got caught. There's
so
a
I
difference.
we have to shout out our friend John Noble.
John Noble,
which is the actor we were talking about. He was fantastic to see, by the way.
His character's so fucking good.
Yeah, he got to play one of the like wise guys, gangsters.
Yeah,
or
when
whatever.
you're checking in, they're one of the guys that hand out the pens and the.
So we literally got to see him right away. He came outside with like his partner or whatever in crime, and they're like both out there like just like razzing everybody basically. You know what I mean?
I can't believe nobody stops and says something, because really, it's like you have been.
We're down the street on like Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Even in your senior show back when you went to ASU,
Mm-hmm.
you had people like out there, kind of in like. While people are waiting in line, you had actors kind of being part of the show, right?
Totally.
This is kind of what that was. These guys were getting signatures, but they were in full character. They were yelling, swearing. Like, if you were just walking on the other side of the street, you're thinking, there's a fight going to happen.
Yeah, like something's going on.
Yeah.
Here. It was wild. And then they have like bullet holes in their head to indicate that they're like dead and ghosts and stuff. And it's pretty fun and wild and ridiculous. And it was really entertaining. But he also sent me on this terrible mission where he told me I had to go confess to killing somebody, basically, which was awful. I got detained by a cop, and he said he was going to keep me for 45 minutes detained, which the game is an hour long, bro.
Yeah.
So I had to do some time. I had to do some hard time.
Do some time.
Had to do some hard time, but it was part of the mission. You know what I mean? You gotta get the missions done.
And so, getting to that, like, I can't understate, like, or overstate, like, the level of panic that happens once everything starts going, because it's dimly lit, right?
Yeah.
It's lit a lot like a haunted house. Like,
Oh, yeah.
So very low light. It is hard to read the
You have this-
passport that we get.
This dang passport that's pages long. The intro they give you, they're like, there are rules in there that you should read,
Yeah,
and
maybe
you're
there's
like,
a map, maybe there's not.
I
Maybe
know,
it's
you're like-
accurate,
and you have
maybe it's
no
not.
time because they literally count down 30 seconds, and you're like
Yeah.
frantically trying to hide. Like, we found a room to hide in. We
Take solace.
to take solace.
To make our base.
We found a character who I believe was the explorer. And it's like immediately, he's all like, I'm missing something. I can't find something. You know what I mean? He's like in character doing his thing. And you're just like trying to be like, what am I supposed to do here? And he was like, is there anything? What are you doing here? Like, and he's trying to like prompt us to like ask him the right question, to find the right mission that is in your book, because your passport has all 16 missions, but they're like coded. You know what I mean? Like, they're different like things in here where it's just like, here, I have it with me. So it's like, oh, here it is. The one. When lost, follow the stars. Kindly, the administration. That's what it says. And so he was talking about he had lost something. And so like you had to hear the clue he was kind of giving you and then find the page and then go do it.
What's hard about that is that, first of all, there is a map in there too. So you kind of have to put one together. But we didn't know that. Like
we just got in there. It's all frantic.
The first person that anybody kind of runs into, they kind of have to be like a quick tutorial, like, hey, maybe look here, maybe look there, because nobody's going to know. There's not one person that's going to get that passport, find the first person they see, and have any iota of what to do. They're just not.
No, 100%.
So,
but then as time goes on, you get a little bit better. You get a little more
only takes
on it.
2 or 3. Then
you start to be like, okay, quickly grabbing on to what to do. But man, it doesn't stop. You know what I mean? Like, you literally, basically what they're going to do is send you off to go do the mission. Like he's not just, I've now asked him the right question, basically. He's giving me something I got to go find. So now I got to go enter back into the hotel and go find the thing that he needs.
Danger zone. Huge danger zone.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. And
100%.
in a lot of these cases, they did it on purpose. Like you'll go to the second floor and you'll need to do something on the first floor or basement.
Yeah, it felt like they were sending you across the way sometimes. So, which is, you know, if you're smart and you do these kind of games, it got to that point where it's like we would gather something and we'd be like, well, we're not sure where to go yet, or it is very far. So along the way, if we can find anything else, we're grabbing that too. You know what I mean? You could take on several missions at once.
Yeah.
Which is what we did. There was like a candy I was given, like a lollipop that I carried for like most of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
So those kind of things like you do. You just grab on, you keep moving.
It does feel like, I know they say that the entire hotel is available to kind of meander and play through. And it's true. Like there's a bar area, right? There's like... It's just so cool because it feels like it's, again, for those that play video games, it's like an open world survival horror
with all these
video
characters.
Game. Yeah. You know,
you just like pass at the, like you would go down a hall and there'd be nothing the first time, but the next time you go, now a door is open and there's a character who's like there that you can either decide to go into the room and interact with or not.
Yeah. And we're passing other groups of people.
Yes.
Right? So other groups of people are either being herded to us or they're being scared, or they're popping out. Like it really is like you're trapped in a building with a bunch of zombies. Like it feels like the level of franticness is just like that. So, okay, we can go over all the missions, but let's not because it's
we're not.
Tell me, how many times? Well, first of all,
I knew you were going to get into
this. Well,
I knew it.
So
here's the thing: we were talking about these different characters, right?
Yes.
And so it's interesting because I was always terrified of the creatures. The creatures, no matter what, you were like, you have to be quiet.
You have to be quiet.
Because they're the ones that are just constantly tasing, basically. As soon as they hear something, they're tasing. That's it. You know what I mean? And you are in this hall with a bunch of people who, some of them are screaming. Some of them are just coming out of a room being like, oh my God, that was crazy. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And so it's just like, if you're anywhere near it, you're like, I got to get out of here. And eventually as the game went on, people started having fun with it where they're now like, and even
they figured it out.
Yeah. And even other characters will like mess with you with the creatures. You're near a creature trying to be quiet and there'll be another character in the area and they'll like hit on your wall like that you're near or something.
The nurses that were supposed to help, they would do that.
They would still do that.
Fucking loud and in a very like, I don't know, 30s voice. Like, hi, it's good to see you. And
they'd purposely be trying to like get the attention of the thing. So that happened a lot. There was one character where I was going in and out of this room a bunch trying to figure out what to do, I think, or maybe I was even looking for you or somebody. And there was this, I guess he's kind of a janitorial or like a facilities guy or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Like I couldn't tell what his character was, but it freaked me out at first because I was like, okay, he does look like one of the characters, but he's just kind of standing back and observing. But he seems to be slowly closing in on me because I was going in and out of this room, right? So I'd come out and he's like, I feel like he's watching me. And I'd go back in and I feel like he's getting closer to the door. And then I'm leaving and it's like, okay, it was just weird, right? But I was like, well, he seems harmless enough. Like I haven't had any instances with him. Maybe he's just creeping me out,
Yeah.
Sure enough, at one point when I'm finally done with the stupid room and me and Lizzie are trying to leave, he is officially at the door as opposed to approaching the door.
Was he blocking you guys in?
Basically, I had to basically go around him.
Okay.
And as I go around him, I got my first big ass tase.
Oh, hell no.
100%. Okay, so they tell you too when they're tasing, by the way. They tell you they're always going to go for like your thigh area. It's like above your knee and then, below your hip, like your thigh. That meaty part of you that's on the outside, your outside thigh, they're always going to try to tase you there. If you move around or something like that crazy, then they always say they could miss, then that's on you.
They say that in the very beginning when they just drop this bomb on people, they're going to get fucking tased.
Yeah, exactly.
You might tase your groin.
But they are trying to go for that kind of area, which is a good area to hit, basically. This guy straight up hit me on my butt. He got me right at the bottom of my butt cheeks, basically. Like,
Yes!
Yeah, no, it was terrible. It hurt so bad. I don't know if it's like because it's the butt or what.
Yeah.
But it was so uncomfortable and so jarring because again, at this point I was just like, this guy's a creep. And then he hit me on the butt.
I know the character talk. I didn't get that character. Like, honestly, he really was just, he didn't look like any of the people dressed
It was a little odd, right?
Yeah,
it was different.
He felt like this guy either owned the building and they gave him a taser. Like he didn't fit in as a character in the game. He doesn't fit.
He
as
never
a patron.
said anything.
Yeah, it was very like was this guy even really here? Like was he a ghost of the fucking area or some shit? Because I saw him a couple of times and he would always go after the chicks. So
Yeah,
there's a
so
level.
Maybe there's something there too.
Yeah,
especially going for the butt.
Gotta watch out for the creepers.
But yeah, like
so that was my first big tase.
Yeah.
After that,
how many did you get tased? So like, okay, so that's your first. Everybody remembers your first. How many times did you get tased?
I think I got tased 4 times.
God damn!
After that, it was always the blind people that got me, the creatures.
Wait, so how many times altogether?
I think 4 or 5.
That's it?
5 maybe.
Oh.
No, I think it was 5.
Okay, I thought it was worse. I thought it was like 7.
No, that's Lizzie. I think Lizzie said she was closer to that amount. Like so I would, and I'm good at being quiet, guys. Like I've got this zen down now with these because we've done enough of these events. I am good, but the problem is everyone around me is not.
Yeah.
And so
Zombie apocalypse.
The
other people will get you killed.
Yeah, and I remember there was one point, like literally, we were in this tight hallway and it was crazy packed, and I think everyone was kind of like trying to head down the same way, and then one of them came around the corner, right? And we're like, full stop, like can't get past this dude.
Well, you were in front of this column or the behind of the back?
I was towards the back, so I felt pretty safe. I was like, okay, we're okay. But I couldn't. There was another creature behind us too. So it was like one of those where we're like,
got to get into a room at that point.
we got to be quiet. We either got to get in a room, be quiet, and sneak past this guy. But I'm like now in the middle, basically, of like I need people to move before I can move.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the problem. But now it's like you're trusting all these people who are now pressing up against the wall so the creature can pass.
Was this the group that you had interjected yourself to, or did they like all just a bunch of randoms?
I think it was randoms. Like I really feel like I was headed down this hall and they all came out of a room in front of me, kind of a
You
thing.
were the leader. They anointed you as their leader. Hold on. If they anointed you as their leader,
That is a really great example of a horrible idea.
They were in front of me. Okay, anyways, eventually he gets close to one of them and one of them literally is like making this like scared, like, you know, like trying to hit up against the wall, like, no, kind
do
of
you mean the person in the group that you were with? I thought you were talking about the creature. Maybe.
No, the creature is fine. The creature is just being. There was one very large creature, like a man that was a beast. Like he was an actual creature.
Was it like a bear?
Like a bear. Wow, really?
Sorry.
He terrified me, and he almost got me constantly, basically, and I feel like he was gunning for me at some point. Maybe that's the story I've made up in my head. But let me get through the story. These people started squeaking like they were scared. He got close to them and they were squeezed up against the wall, and like one in front was like like whimpery noises, and that's all it took. And this dude just starts zapping, and when I say starts zapping, it's like he zaps that guy and keeps marching forward, zaps the guy behind him.
Shit, it was like a firing
keeps
squad?
going forward, the guy behind, like it's just down a line, because now everyone's yelling as soon as they get zapped.
Oh yeah.
I was probably like the 5th person behind them.
Yeah.
Got zapped.
Well, you didn't move?
I was trying, but I told you we're like butted in. Like all of us were squeezed up
It's a
against the
hallway.
wall.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
It was
Yeah.
terrible. How dare you? You have no idea.
I know, because I didn't get tased because I'm too
I think,
good for it.
but people tried to tase you, right?
Well, they tried. That doesn't mean shit. I could try
I'm just
to
telling
be tased
you.
a bunch
I
of
think
times.
everyone, audience, I think it was his shorts. They were loose, and that's the whole thing. Like, because some of the tases weren't bad. I was wearing jeans, which I thought was a smart choice for like a game there. I might have to crawl and move around and do
True,
things.
yeah.
It wasn't,
No, it
because if
wasn't.
they were tight, like then
Zap, zap.
Yeah. And so I felt every zap, but like literally only 2 of them were like, oh, that kind of like hurt. The rest of them were fine. Like it really
okay.
was like, it was like a pinch.
So, like the first time you got zapped in your buttocks, they
That one
weren't all
hurt.
that bad. They weren't
No.
all that bad.
No. I think probably that one and maybe like the last one were bad, kind of a thing. The ones in between were like small pinches. Like it just feels like someone pinched you real quick, kind of thing.
Got you.
So it's not terrible, you know what I mean? But it is jarring.
Every time we talked to Lizzie afterwards on the debrief, and she said they all hurt. Like, no?
She said that she had a couple that hurt too.
Oh, I thought she said all of them hurt.
No, I mean, you feel all of them.
Yeah.
But
well,
no, she said she had a couple of hard ones too. And she said it was the same thing. It was the blind people, the creatures sometimes would push. Like because I think maybe they
The
can't see as
prongs.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there was some people who like if it's a character and they kind of zap you, they're just like barely getting you. Like
Yeah.
they're just like they can see you and they can get you.
Yeah.
And then after that, all the creatures though, they're like I think they're just going for it.
Yeah.
And so it's like if they press hard into you, then you really feel it.
Well, that's a great point too, because there are these characters that are meandering about. One of them was like, she wasn't a waitress. She was like a jazz lounge singer. And we were upstairs and she had a taser just singing. And as you walk by, zap. And
you have no idea.
And I always see like her, like you mentioned, people can't see this, but they jut their hand out and in real quick. You know what I mean? So they're not really trying to hurt you.
No.
But like you mentioned, those little people that were blindfolded, and then it was generally dark in the hallways where they were kind of going back and forth in. So they probably did need to push all the way out, you know?
Yeah.
So it's funny. We're talking about one of the characters in John Noble, our friend, his character, when I ran into you guys, because I actually got separated, and I'll bring that up in a little bit. He had his taser like to your knee. Right?
Yeah,
like
he was holding
like
it.
Old school, the Godfather,
100%
gun
was
to
a
your
threatening
leg.
moment.
Yeah, and that's his character, right? Like they're wise guys who aren't very wise, but
No.
they're, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that I got really anxious in that
It
moment.
was a scary move. And this was like towards the beginning of our game. I hadn't been zapped yet.
Oh, you hadn't?
No, Lizzie got a zap from them. I think like his partner zapped her like as she was trying to sit down kind of a thing. She got a little zap and she again said it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But then as we're sitting there, and I think Lizzie was kind of making some sort of snarky jokes because that's Lizzie.
Yeah.
That's when he put it up to my knee and was then like, how does that make you feel? Kind of a thing, or you know what I
Is
mean?
this so fucking funny?
Yeah, that kind
I
of
like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
What
But he didn't zap me, luckily. But I did. I had a moment where I was like, he's gonna betray me.
he has zapped other people. So when I got separated a couple of times. The first time I got separated, I was looking everywhere for you guys.
Yeah.
But it's impossible. It's very hard to find someone.
Yeah.
Like you just have to get lucky. When I went upstairs.
Yeah.
I saw John and his buddy talking to somebody else. The same thing you were doing, and he was fucking smoking this guy.
Really?
Like he had zapped him twice. Yeah. And so in my mind, I'm like, holy shit, he's gonna do that to Jessica.
Yeah.
And I got really nervous for you because I'm thinking the way that these dudes are reacting, whether it's theatrics, fear, or actually it hurt, like I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know what I
like,
mean?
No.
But Lizzie did say that Jessica put John in a movie.
Yeah, that was
So.
funny. She then she was all like, "You're gonna do that to someone who put you in a movie?"
But yeah, that was so. When I got lost, it is one of those moments where there are so many people and there are all of these creatures. Oh, I swear to God, like there were so many people with tasers.
Yeah.
Like it was like it was like being pinballed, and then you just try not to hit people because they'll
Right.
tase you, right? And so I like linked up with another just random group, and I actually fell into someone's, and this happened to you guys too, to someone who was completing a mission.
Yes.
And they're like, "Hey, this is what to do," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm not
I'm
with them,
already
but I'm with them
I'm
now.
with them now. I'm
Yeah, it's
already
like,
here.
friends."
Friends, stamp my passport.
Yeah. So that happened a couple of times, and there is this weird moment of like, and we talk about this when we do some of the other immersive events where if you're separated, it's just a better time.
Oh,
It's just better.
totally.
Here, I would probably argue that it's a little different, but it ended up being fun for me. Like, can I
still
do
was
this on
fun.
my own?
Yeah, because all of us got separated at some
Were
point.
you were solo at one point?
I was alone, yeah,
Oh
too.
shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I didn't. I think I got the luckiest in that I don't think I was alone the longest. You know what I mean? Like I
Oh,
usually would
that's
find
not
one of
fair.
you, but there was a time that I was like fully alone for sure. And me, when I was fully alone, I mostly was just dodging freaking creatures the whole
Yeah.
time.
And it
Like,
is-
because I went upstairs to where John was when I was alone, and the creature was up there, and he caught me like in his area trying to like hide from the creature, and then he straight up started leading the creature towards me.
John?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like in between the couches and in between the couches and weird things there, just trying to like dodge him while he's constantly being like, just say hi to him. He just wants a friend.
And
just
so
talk to him. It's good.
To describe, like, again, I love the environment because it's kind of like you're in a smoking lounge. Like, it's a very like Vegas-y where you plush seats, tables that are like tea lit. Like, it's very close quarters. You would not, like, in the adult in you playing hide and seek or being chased around this, it really taps into the kid of you.
Oh,
like,
it's so fun.
Yeah. So like,
It was fun.
you know, in that moment when you're being chased around with the dude with the taser and you're
Yeah.
like kind of jumping around chairs and around tables, and like, absolutely.
Yeah, like Lizzie had to crawl like past one of the creatures at one point. Like,
Really?
yeah, because they were straight up putting their hands like on the walls sometimes when they're in a hallway. Like they were just like trying to block you so bad. So she ducked down and crawled underneath real quick.
Wow, good for her.
I know, that's what I said. I was like, okay. I think I went around a different way.
Yeah.
But like we all did get separated at some point, and it's like, and it's funny, even Lizzie, like she'd get separated, and then when I'd find her, she'd be like, "Hey, I got this beer that we need to deliver." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's
she's
so
pretty good like that. She also
the same. You had moments like that too.
Twice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then we would catch you too, and also be like, "Hey, come do this really quickly." You know what I mean? Like
it was really cool.
it was
Like,
great.
that because you can do so. Again, we talk about it when you get separated, like an immersive event. Like you rely on your group so much. Like sometimes they'll just take it off. Like you're just following. When
Yeah.
you're by yourself, like the level of awareness and like self-preservation and like excitement and anxiousness and your blood pressure, like, and these are all this. If you're listening to this and you don't like this probably sounds terrible, but for people who enjoy it, it really is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool.
Like I do wish more people could experience this. Like if you took out the tasing aspect, I feel like more people would be willing to do this.
Yeah, but
I get it that it's like the tasing really wasn't that bad. You know what I mean?
and what
like,
would they do? Like, where would the urgency be to like a couple of times I had to do a
Just the
pure
capture.
red. I had to do fucking breakout
there was
football
like
moves,
some straight up, yeah, you're
there's-
like leaping over. And
Yeah.
like there was some crazy stuff you had to do.
You've tapped into a moment where it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't know my body could still do that.
No,
But you're very proud that you
but
can. It's like,
hey, we're here now.
hold on, I got one.
We did this.
Yes. And yeah, I think that I don't know how you could remove the tasing and it still have that urgency to it. I just think it loses
No.
so much. Right? What could you do?
Yeah, I did appreciate. Like in the end, I was like, it really wasn't that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was fine. And if anything, it really did amp it up. I agree. It was so fun. Like this was such a surprisingly fun experience. Like I knew it was gonna be fun because I love escape room stuff and games and things like that. This blew me out of the water as far as like what was actually delivered.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to like categorize because it is an immersive event, 100%. It is a escape room event, sure. It's like a level of theatricality,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, you're paying for a 2-hour block. It's a 2-hour block that you get in for.
Yeah, the game itself is timed for an hour,
an
like
hour.
for when it starts.
And you see that everywhere. It's so cool. It's like
Yeah.
there's a countdown.
There
Tick, tick,
is.
You know, you've got these big red clocks
Yeah.
almost in every room and in the lobby. Like
yeah, so you see it often when
Yeah.
you're in there. So at least you always kind of know what's going on with the time.
yeah.
But it is 2 hours. Like we got basically a pre-show even standing outside, you know what I mean, with
Yeah.
the characters and stuff. And then they let you hang out afterwards to like talk to the characters. The bar opens
It's
up so
fucking
you can have a drink and
Yeah,
stuff.
It's like
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
right? Like you just can fold back into everything that you were so carefully dancing around and
Yeah.
frantically moving around just a few moments ago. So
it was great.
yeah, I think it was so cool. I think that, like you mentioned it, we as horror, or not as horror, I guess, yeah, horror enthusiasts, haunt enthusiasts, you kind of see almost everything, right? You're very
Right.
in tune to it. And so for something like this to come up, to not just be a surprising, like, oh yeah, there is that. Let's maybe take a look at it. And for it to be as effective as it was, like
Mhm.
those, I don't know, man. Like that was just, it was so cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could talk, again, we're not gonna talk about missions. I think that just, if you're on the fence, go.
Go.
Yeah, go, right?
The goal is to get as many missions done as possible. Our whole entire, group that we were in, like everybody who was there, they ask at the end, like, did you get this many missions done or whatever?
Yeah.
We got up to 11. Like it was the highest amount that anybody had gotten done.
Yeah.
So out of the 16. So they have said that no one, at least, I mean, we went towards the beginning, so that no one that year had hit 16 yet, which was fine.
Yeah.
Um,
We were on the leaderboard.
we were on the leaderboard because we got 11.
Yeah.
I had gotten 11.
It's,
So
and it is fun because, like, if you do enjoy escape rooms, right? Like, if you enjoy escape rooms, then I do think that this is definitely worth it because at its root, you're in a big ass escape room. There
Yeah.
are just other obstacles kind of
Yeah.
slowing you down.
it's like
you
a
know?
giant scavenger hunt.
That's a great way of putting it too.
Yeah.
I think
But with like really cool characters.
I think last year's was a scavenger.
I mean, that would
hunt.
make sense because that's basically what they're doing.
That's all it is, right?
Yeah, but there's definitely some interesting stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Oh fuck yeah.
there's a point where someone's possessed and you get to do an exorcism. You know what I mean? Like there's like some
Yeah.
cool stuff in there that's so fun. You know
The
what I mean? Like
variety of things you'll see. At
Yeah.
one point, we had to solve a puzzle that was in Morse code. Again, all this stress going around.
you had to
people
like
running around.
dig into somebody.
Dude. Oh yeah, you guys too though.
Yeah.
We had to pull, reach into someone's guts and pull out a key or very saw-like. So like the
Yeah.
level of variety that you have to, and the puzzles aren't very difficult in terms of like that part of it, but it's a 2-part puzzle. You have to find out where you're going
Yeah.
to get there, and then you complete your task, and then they stamp your passport and move on.
And again, it's not as easy as going to the next place because these freaking characters and creatures are everywhere.
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 How many
like
did you think there were? Like people with tasers.
Oh my god! So I don't know.
At
Like I
least
said, there was
15,
like I
right?
said, there was at least like 5 creatures, and then roaming at least like
characters.
10 others
Yeah.
at least. But I mean, then there were characters inside of the rooms that would just stay in their room that you had to go find and interact with.
You know what's scary about that too is that because there are a shit ton of rooms, and as you go in the rooms, it's generally you think like it's a safe room, right?
Yeah.
Because you're in the middle.
you do
don't
feel safe most of the time.
Yeah,
But-
because you are doing something, you have to get information from the person in the room, and you don't want to be running around in circles being chased by someone who's tasing. So I'm sure that they're like, don't follow people in the rooms, or if you do, don't tase them. But a couple of times,
Yeah.
like when you go in and then you come right back out, and the person's just kind of there at the door, like which sometimes they would do that.
Yeah.
That was like I'm not ever coming out of this room. Like I'm
No.
gonna make my home right
There
here.
were, but you know what's interesting? One of the times I was fully separated from you guys, I'd ended up back in the basement, and there was a point where I think there was too many people in there, and there was a character who came through, and she went to the middle of the room with her taser, put it up in the air, and started counting backwards from 10.
Oh no way.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
And I
cool.
was like mid trying to actually solve a puzzle when she was doing this, so I was like, no, I don't want to leave the room.
There must have
Like,
been a bunch of people there because
there were, and it's cleared a bunch of people out, and I was able to hide. And then it was really funny because I hid, and then she came back in when she was done, and found me. And then I was very like, oh no! This was the moment I didn't talk about this, but I was carrying around a teddy bear this entire
Oh yeah.
escape room.
That's right. Jesus.
Right at the beginning when they were giving us the rules and they were starting to introduce characters, a teddy bear got dropped on my head from above from the
That's
second
true.
story. They like
Yeah.
threw it down. It straight up whacked me in the head. And I picked it up because then I was like, you know what? This is like some weird game. I might need this freaking teddy bear.
Yeah,
Watch this
yeah,
be one
at
of the
some
items
point.
you have to return or something. I'll be so mad if it touched me and I had it in my hands and I didn't take it with me. So I carried around a teddy bear the whole time. And this teddy bear saved me a lot. And this was a moment where it did, where she straight up grabbed the teddy bear and wrenched it out of my hands and took off with it. And then she eventually like threw it back at me like later.
Really?
Yeah, but instead of tasing me, she just like stole my teddy bear.
That's awesome. Like that was your shield?
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
like
that happened a few times. There was a few times people would see the teddy bear and I feel like, you know what I mean?
You know what I say about that?
Fortune and glory, kid. Fortune and glory.
You were very fortunate to have the teddy bear.
Is that what that means?
That's what it means.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Anyways, this was such a blast.
Yeah.
The first week that it was open was when we went. It was a little bit cheaper. It gets more expensive as it goes on. I kind of get the price tag. It's a lot of scare actors in
Yeah.
there.
They got to pay a lot of people.
And there's a lot going on.
A lot going on.
And there's a whole experience you're getting. It's not just it's the cost becomes comparable to some of these immersive theater events, basically.
I think that the next closest cost would be Delusion. Yeah.
And so it gets close to that cost, but you actually are actively having a game. It's not just like I'm playing a part in this story.
Right.
You are actively doing a game. And escape rooms are expensive, you know what I mean? But now imagine like full of a huge escape room where you can go into all of them and there's a ton of characters and stuff.
Yeah, I think it looks like to go right now, which you still can go.
It's late in the game,
It's
but
late
we
in
can
the
go.
game. It's $130 a person.
There you go.
It is for a 2-hour experience, like you said. And then they do leave it open. You can get drinks afterwards. Those are not included in that cost. But I think that might be the most expensive ticket that we'll do this year. But you are absolutely right. You are like in it. You're an active participant
Yeah.
the entire time. You're
Yeah.
not waiting for something to pop out. Again, the next most comparable thing in cost would be Delusion, and this destroys Delusion. Did we do Delusion and this the same night?
We did.
So sidebar.
Yeah.
We actually did both of these the same night, and
We did Escape Hotel first,
and
the hide and
Delusion
seek
went
first,
second.
and then Delusion
And
after.
if you know anything about doing things, you don't want to do the great thing first. So like we have made our thoughts known about Delusion this year, which also quite a few people share our thoughts on it. And but doing the Escape Hollywood, what is it called? The
Hollywood
official?
Escape Hotel.
Hollywood
or Escape Hotel Hollywood, I guess. Because everyone, I always just call it Escape Hotel.
Yeah.
But their Halloween event is hide and seek.
Okay. That is
Escape Hotel, hide and seek. If you look it up, you'll find it.
If there's one recommendation, and again, we'll have our year-end wrap-up coming up soon, but if there's one thing that you can still do, it is expensive. Absolutely. Most things here are when it comes to this. And again, if you like escape rooms, if you like high-pressure situations, if you think you've done everything, like this is probably less than 17th Door for sure in terms of like trauma, but it is damn close in terms of like what you're getting for
totally. If you need
fucking excitement.
you need some excitement. You want to be scared.
Yeah.
This is it.
This is Hollywood. Like this is fucking this is Hollywood shit. So
it was good.
Yeah. I can't recommend it enough. Yes, it's expensive, but if you got time, if you're interested, I would say go.
Me too.
Right?
I love it.
Is there anything else you want to touch on about the events? Anything at all before we wrap this one up?
No, I mean, I'm excited. I want to go back and do some of the more of their escape rooms themselves and stuff. See it in its go back. See the spirits again cannot follow me home, please. Thank you. Because we survived, we escaped, so we don't need to be stuck in the hotel.
This is true.
Yeah,
epic.
No, it's great. If you get if there's still time available, and looks like there is as of recording this conversation, you should definitely go. But in the meantime, for Chris
and Jessica,
we're out.
the teddy bears will save you.